All right, guys, welcome back for another episode on the Steaks with Mates podcast. I'm your host, Health Coach Joff, and today I'm joined by the wonderful Melissa B. You know, she's done amazing things here in the carnivore scene in Australia, and we're about to get into some pretty awesome conversations about what's going to be happening in April this month.
Yes.
Very exciting stuff. But welcome, Melissa. Thank you for coming along and joining us for which I'm sure will be an awesome discussion.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me. I just noticed your t-shirt. I want one of them.
Yes, it was given to me as a present. I can't remember by. Actually, I do remember who. It was my sister. I shouldn't shout her out for giving me a shirt, but I don't know where she got it from.
Oh,
Yes.
I'd love one of them. If anyone knows, please let me know.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Melissa, you know, it's a pleasure to have you on. Like I said, you've done such an amazing job with, organizing such a awesome event with the Carnivore Collective Live last year in Adelaide, and now you're bringing it back into town here over at Melbourne, Australia,
Yes.
April 26th, right?
Yes. So 4 weeks away.
Yeah, very exciting stuff. And I just want to say personally, that event in Adelaide really did change my life a lot. I think, being a part of something which I'd never experienced before, and just being around such amazing people, guests, and the attendees in general. It was just a surreal moment that really gave me, I guess, confidence to be out here, start talking about this a little bit more. So thank you so much. I just want to, personally tell you that.
Oh, that's so sweet. You're very welcome. I think that's the purpose actually behind what it is that I'm trying to create at these live events, because I didn't even know in Australia whether or not there were many carnivores out there until I started seeing a whole heap. The algorithms were on me when I started finding all these carnivore Facebook groups in Australia with thousands of people in there. I'm like, wow, there are people out there who are doing this kind of lifestyle. And I could see a lot was happening in the US, of course. And I thought, why not just run a live event here? Because, historically, I've run a lot of health and wellness events, and I am passionate carnivore, and I believe in the lifestyle and everything it can do for you and for healing. And I thought, let's see if we can get some of the biggest names in the space into a room. But it's an opportunity to bring people together so that they can share experiences and stories and knowledge and, education, so that we can inspire people to firstly keep going if they're already doing it, or maybe get started if they haven't started yet. Because there was a combination of people in the room I could see. Speaking to them, they were, either doing the lifestyle or interested in it, and just generally interested in living better and well. That's the purpose for all of us. We want people to be thriving in their lives, and I don't think there's any reason why we shouldn't be. But that's purely based on our choices, as you know. So what the event is all about is the bringing together of people. The energy in the room, you could probably give us some feedback on that from your experience being in the audience. I mean, I was on the stage, but the energy in the room was just so electric and buzzing because there was so much excitement from everybody. Even the guest speakers were super excited about when they came out and saw all the people there, and it's very special. Yeah.
I hope you're enjoying the episode so far, but before we get back into it, I really want to talk about something I think is very important for health and longevity, and it's about adult stem cells. Did you know that adult stem cells are essential for the repair and renew of damaged and old cells in your body? But here's the catch. As you age, the number of adult stem cells in your circulation decreases. By age of 35, your natural release of adult stem cells can drop up to 45%. By 50, it can drop as much as 50%. And by 65, it can plummet by up to 90%. Fortunately though, there is a solution. There is a product out there in the market that naturally increases the amount of adult stem cells that circulate in your bloodstream. It's by a company called Cerule, and the magical product is called Stem Enhance Ultra. And there's also a bunch of amazing products that Cerule offer that help with the migration of adult stem cells. Now, to check this out for yourself, go click the link below that I'll provide in the video description. And I should also note that you can get your products for free. So check it out, and with that, let's get back to the show.
I can imagine, because I sat right in the front. I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna get a front seat of this. But what was even what was so amazing was actually looking back and seeing, holy, you've got a full packed, venue, and you're right. The energy was just something that it was surreal. Like,
buzzing.
I thought it was going to be more of a, let's just get in and listen to the speakers and be a little bit starstruck. But what was really amazing was just everyone was in zone. Now, mind you, like I'm someone who's been I've done the carnivore diet for about 3.5 years. I know a lot of what's already out there and the information wise. So, I thought, this is going to be cool as a way to, for those who don't know the carnivore diet and are wanting to try it, they get to learn in person. But yeah, it was like I was relearning it again, and I'm like, man, I've heard Dr. Chafee talk about this before. I've heard about these concepts, but I'm glued. I'm absolutely glued. I'm zoned in, and I can see everyone else too. So I think, that's my feedback, and it was. I'm so looking forward to this massive event that's going to be happening, in Melbourne.
So I'm really glad that you touched on that, because I actually, I received a message from someone who was interested in coming to Melbourne, but thought that they knew it all also. It's a pretty simple concept, really. And I know that it feels like you can't learn anymore if you've been doing it for a while and you know what you're doing. But it's not that made that experience special. It's not that you sat and you heard information that you clearly know. We all know it. It's very, very simple. But it was like we got to see people who are out there spreading the word, inspiring and educating people who are here and globally out there doing, a service for humanity, in the same room as us, sharing their energy. And it's like an energy exchange. Like you can't get that through a screen as much as you can, a little bit. But when you're there in person, there's connection and interaction, and, there's people sitting next to you with their own stories. And I saw a lot of people, meeting new friends and just big smiles, huge smiles, So I love that feedback, because it just, because you know what to do, it doesn't mean that going to an event like this would not be worth your while, your time, because trust me, like the whole experience, and all of my events are always about an experience. We will have the foyer filled with some really amazing businesses and products and people there in the health, wellness and carnivore space, sharing, initially when people arrive, we have an exhibition space. I've got a few other little surprises in mind and happening, and a lot more interaction at this event with the audience, because it is a long day to hear information. So I want to make this as interactive as we can this time. That was some feedback we received. We've got the likes of, Veronica Larasova, Tom McDonald, Bar is an expert as well in the sports field, sports nutrition, and Anthony Fayez is a PT of over 24 years. Like, we'll get them up and we'll have a conversation about sport, and we'll get questions asked, from the audience. And I want to try and, you were there. So when I jumped on stage and I said, listen, I am no different to you. I have had my own experience, and I am just passionate about sharing it, just like a lot of you are in the audience. And I want you all to know that, that everyone's story and experience is important. We've got someone like Dave Matt coming again, who did an amazing talk and just hit, I think, over 1,000 interviews of those who have had positive experience on the carnivore diet. Dave's really great, because whenever I have someone who contacts me and they may have a certain ailment or something going on in their health, and if I don't have anything very specific on it, I just contact Dave, I'm like, right, Dave,
Yeah.
like, do you have an interview of someone who's had this or done this? And like, yeah, cool, here you go. And he sends me an interview that relates to that topic, So
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's good. So it's a really amazing group of speakers. Dr. Robert Kiltz will be there from America. He wouldn't miss it. He's very excited to Bella and Max again coming from the US. Ray is just amazing. Carnivore Ray is a really sweet, genuine guy doing amazing things in the US. And then all of us Aussies and Bart Kay and it's very exciting. It's just come so quickly. I haven't really thought much about it, Josh. But now that I'm talking to them every day, everybody about it, I'm like, yeah, it's not that far away. I should start thinking about it a bit more.
It's happening now. It's happening in a few weeks. Yeah, really.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I really want to draw on the point that, this is something that I think people really need, the power of community, because I think what's formed after Adelaide was we've connected. I've connected with people, through social media. Then I met them in person, and now we've got this awesome connection. So it goes far beyond just the education. It is the human connection that a lot of people do need. Yeah.
Yes, I agree. Totally agree with you, because we spend a lot of time, and technology is wonderful for that. It can enable us to connect with people anywhere in the world. But that experience of human interaction and the energy that you feel in the room is what a lot of people need. And a lot of people call me, and especially women, by the way. I don't know why, but especially women who say, I'm doing carnivore and I feel very isolated and alone. No one really understands what I'm doing, and no one in my space really, gets it. So what they really look forward to is coming to a day where they can be accepted and heard and excited to share stories and connect with other people who are doing the same thing. So that's exactly what you just said. What it's like.
Yeah. I must add too, it is so refreshing to actually be out in a restaurant eating the same food that everyone else is eating. Like, it's just, it was just, that was cool. That was cool in itself. I don't have to worry about being judged. Yeah, the lunch and the dinner. That's
so good. Yeah, so we have a beautiful carnivore buffet lunch included in every single ticket. So there'll be a buffet carnivore lunch served at the venue for everybody who attends, everyone who has a ticket. And then if you're interested, which I think you've purchased, which is the Friday night, we have a guest speaker VIP dinner. So all of the guest speakers will be having a beautiful casual dinner where you get to conversate and spend time with all the guest speakers in person over another carnivore dinner the night before.
That is exciting. I'm really excited for that.
Very, very exciting. That's and you're right. It's about just being in the space of people just like you.
Yes, very powerful, very powerful. Now, speaking of your story and wanting to share it, would you mind just talking us through your personal story, how you got into the carnivore diet, what led you to it, and what you experienced? Yeah,
sure. Well, in 2010, I had a health crash that led to me having all these unrelated health issues. At its worst, my left ear started ringing and I was diagnosed with tinnitus, a ringing in the ear that will never go away. I had a number of appointments and scans and everything, and there was nothing that could be done for me. I was given some medication and walked out the door. This will be with you for life. And I just said, no, my body has created this. Clearly I'm doing something that's manifested this. Maybe I can change something that will help me to make it better and everything else better. So, like when you're ready, the teachers appear. And by the way, I hear that a lot with carnivore. I'll come back to a story in a minute. I'll tell you about the story recently which linked to that. But so I set off on a journey and I realized that I was had chronic gut issues, candida. I had, heavy metals in my blood. I was, just very, very unhealthy, parasites, everything in the gut. I was 26 years old. How did that happen? I know how it happened because the food I was eating, the products I was breathing in, using in my home and on my body, my emotional well-being was just cactus. Like I was not focused on taking care of myself. My lifestyle choices, alcohol, the things that just create this cauldron of toxicity in our health. And I had ignored the signs all the way up to the point where my body's like, right, you're not listening to us. We're going to scream at you. We're going to take your silence away from you. It's very dramatic, but that's exactly how it felt. At 26 years old, to have your silence taken away from you is scary enough to shake me into a new pathway, which created like empowerment. It's like, wow, what I'm eating can affect how I feel and my skin and my overall well-being. How I'm thinking actually impacts, my life and what even comes into my life based on how I'm feeling. And, exercise, movement, there was a whole range of things that I implemented that I was not aware of. I mean, I was conscious enough to question that something needed to change. And I think I posted something about this today, like change, we have a choice to change. If you don't like what you're experiencing right now, like we have to acknowledge that something needs to change, but then we need to change. And, it would have been all well and good if I had realized that I needed to change but did nothing, and that's where a lot of people get stuck. So it set me off on a journey, and I was on more of a paleo diet back then. And, all the lifestyle choices and changes and emotional well-being, self-work I begun. And in like 12 months, I significantly lowered the ringing and just reversed all the health issues I'd had and was dropped like 18 kilos or something like this. So I felt the best I'd ever felt. I was detoxifying my whole body and mind and life. And from there, it set me on the journey of, I thought, well, maybe there's a lot of other people that need this information. Maybe they're searching for the help that I had to spend a year finding. And I'm going to just start running retreats and wellness days and events and bring the experts into a space where people can come and learn. And, that was 2010. So by 2011, I started running events. I hosted people like Pete Evans, Osher Ginsberg talked about, I launched his book here in Adelaide about mental health. Eddie Betts did a kids book, like sustainability event. There was a documentary called Heal, and that was a wonderful film, and I launched that here in Adelaide. 3 different events, sellouts, and it was, again, an opportunity to bring people into a space because people want to connect, and I when I experience something that has positively benefited me, then I want to share it with everybody. And my events is a great platform for that because I can do it in a bigger scale. Thank goodness now we've got social media, we can do it in a much bigger scale online.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So that led me then to a period of a little bit of stress in my life where I had 2 kids, and then I went through a separation and divorce. It was a stressful time. I don't think anyone would ever say that a divorce is not a stressful time. And I just couldn't put myself first anymore. I was in survival mode. I put on a lot of weight, and I was just not thinking about how I was living. I was simply surviving. And I got to the tail end of that, and it was like, okay, now it's time to take care of myself. And I took the path that I already knew that had worked for me, before, which was mostly clean eating. If you look at my Instagram, you'll see, if you go right to the bottom, you'll see I was a queen, juice queen, smoothie bowl queen, all those things that back then served me. There was a purpose to that. It got me well at the time. That's as far as it could take me, and I didn't know any better. Just great, it helps you get back on track, cleans things up a bit. And then I met Anthony Fayez, who's a guest speaker, PT, 24 years, and I met him, and he told me a little bit about the work he does, and he kind of set me on a path of transformation, and he helped me as a coach transform my body in, actually within 3 to 4 months there had been significant change. In 12 months I had dropped, 23 kilos, 10% body fat, and I was prepping for a bikini bodybuilding competition.
Nice.
So I thought, I want to push myself as far as I can and see where I can take myself. It was a great challenge. It was a great test. I got into the prep for that, and then got sick with COVID, almost like very close to the end. And I'm like, I am not giving up this prep. I have worked hard for this. And he said to me, Mel, you should do carnivore for the last 4 weeks. And I knew about carnivore. We talked about it a number of times. I was following all the, Chafies and the Barkay and offshore bakers back then. It was about 4 years ago. Sorry, 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, I've got nothing to lose because I really need to, you know, I need to get on stage. So yeah, I did that, and it like from a aesthetic body perspective, it was incredible, the difference.
Yeah,
Going
I
from
can
eating
imagine.
mostly like keto to carnivore changed everything. It was a game changer. But the beautiful thing, and I think I was probably the only girl there that day, or any of the competitors who felt amazing getting on stage, because these bodybuilding industries are, you know, got a lot of focus on carbs and it's just a different way. And so I felt amazing going into that day. And the beauty is afterwards I just kept eating like that because I started to recognize how different I was feeling. I realized how elevated my energy was, my mood, my vision. I always say, because I love, in South Australia, we've got beautiful coastline, beautiful hills.
Yes.
One side of the city is the beach, the other side of the city is the hills. And I spend a lot of time there when I can in my free time. And so I started to see colours more vibrantly. It's like I started to take in life in a new way. Because you're living so well, you feel well, you actually experience life differently. And I'm like, for a minute, like I thought I was at a level where that was it. That would take me to a new level I'd never experienced before. And it's the same even when I met Anthony, I said, oh, you know, a couple more kilos and I'll be fine, because that was my limit. I'd only ever lost 18 kilos in my whole life, and that's all I thought I needed to, let alone like getting to like 23 kilos, dropping 10% body fat, like, and then going to carnivore and having like a life upgrade. That's what it felt like. And where a lot of people talk about, I just can't believe you only eat meat. By the way, carnivores don't just only eat meat, but they feel it's so restrictive. And I just say, I have gained so much back in my life from eating this way. I've gained my health back, my mental health, my energy levels, my vibrancy. I can be a present and active mother. I'm a single mum. I'm here on my own. You know, like I can be the mother I wasn't even able to be in my 30s. You know, I feel better. I look better now in my 40s. I'll be turning 42 in September, and it's a whole different world. Why wouldn't I want to get on a stage and tell everybody about this? Because it's such a simple method that gives you so much. Why wouldn't we want to share this with people? And why wouldn't people want to try it? You know, and the beautiful thing, and I'm sure you hear it all the time, like there's just so many more people hearing stories and like reaching out. Hey, I'm thinking about doing this. Hey, I've got this going on. Like, and there's a lot of illness and disease out there. Obesity.
Yes.
Look, I work with women who are extremely overweight, and a lot of them are in their 30s and 40s, maybe getting into their 50s. Now, if you're overweight in your 30s or even your 20s, you know, like if you're overweight there, where do you think you're headed if you stay on that path? I don't want people to have. I don't want people to have to have their ear scream at them to create change. That was a lucky ailment, we'll put it that way. That was a good one. You know, it wasn't so bad. It was bad, but it wasn't so bad. You know, and other people are experiencing things that are a lot worse. Then they're creating change. It's like, please don't wait. You've got life to live, and that's why I'm here doing what I do. It's not to say I'm any better than you. I don't look any better than you. Like, it's not an ego thing. It's genuine from the heart. If I'm gifted the opportunity to live like this, then I want to tell everybody else about it, because you deserve that too. And I think most carnivores, like Dave Mack actually said on stage in Adelaide, he said, all these carnivores just want to scream from the rooftop, you know, how amazing it is because of how they feel. Like, that's what carnivores are out there doing. That's why we're kind of going viral, because we want to share it with people. When you're living in a thriving state, You think better, you see better, you feel better, you speak better. Like it's the way we're meant to be living as human beings. And don't you want that? These are the questions I ask. Are we having a coaching call here, Josh? It sounds like it.
It sounds like it. I think I'm getting a coaching lesson right now, actually. I might implement this in my in my own practice.
And I'm so passionate about it. I really want for everyone to feel like this. And I hear stories all the time, and I'm certain you do too with your clients. Like, you hear these stories all the time from people who need to create change in their life. They're very desperate, actually, to create the change that they know they need because they've got no other choice. If you're 100 kilos or dealing with some kind of health issue, no choice but to create change. And I just encourage everybody to research and then make a choice and then experience it. I had a person call me yesterday about starting some coaching with me, and she tried carnivore for 3 weeks but didn't quite work. And I think she said something like, do you ever feel like you don't really want meat anymore? And I'm like, never. You just haven't done it for long enough. You just haven't done it for long enough. And so, I just encourage everybody to give it a really good go and then reflect on the feedback your body gives you and then take your next move,
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it very, very awesome points you made there. I think allowing yourself a period of time to actually heal is very important because, you wouldn't have reached out to a coach or looked up the information online if you didn't have a reason why. And a lot of people do have a why. They just, it's getting up to the next step. Now I want to action and plan and action something. But it does, it does take a little bit of, I guess, soul searching or deep diving into, taking that first step, which is always the hardest.
Well, I think people fear the unknown. Hey, I do sometimes. Like, we fear the unknown. They just don't know what they don't know until they know it. They have an experience. And you can make good decisions in life based on those experiences and feedback, I don't know about you. Carnivore helps me to stay very aligned with my body and understand how my body works. Like, I'm in tune with it. I'm working with my body now. My body and I are a team. We are one.
Yes.
I think that's what happens when you live in this state. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
A lot of people want to create change in their life, but who do they have to become to step into that? And some people are really stuck in who they are with this kind of idea that I want that, but am I really willing to be the person I need to be to have it? That's the scary part. That's where they have to create change. By the way, when you start dropping physical layers off the body, when you start losing body fat, I've noticed that even in my own experience that you have like emotional layers come up to be, worked on, and then you dissolve them as you continue to evolve as a person. So it is just as much a mindset game as it is a physical, we talk about movement, metabolism, mindset. It's a combination of these. You can't just eat carnivore and be a stress head. It's not with you. There is a lovely balance that has to be in place there. So, people need to cool, am I ready to make change? Good. Yes, let's do it. But, feel the fear and do it anyway. That's what I say.
Yeah. And to add with another, I guess you can call it aspect of it is the spirituality. And that's something that I never really understood until I finally become attuned to myself. And that's something that you can't take that experience, and put it into words. I really can't. I try to. I really do. But there's something about just knowing myself a lot more, eating this way and understanding that your body actually knows what it needs to do when you feed it the right foods, when you live life the way you're designed. There is just a deep connection that, I think a lot of people are just missing. They are missing.
I totally agree with you. It's a really important part of this puzzle. really important part.
Yeah.
And I have felt that elevation in consciousness, if you want to put it that way,
Yeah.
living this way. And I sometimes have even people very close to me who still question my choices, and I'm laughing because it's family member, and I can, and I just feel like saying, does it look like I'm unhealthy? Do I behave like there's something wrong with what I'm doing? I've not maintained my physical appearance, my health, my physical health, well-being status for 4 years now. This is the most I've ever stayed consistent with a lifestyle, because it serves me so greatly that I would never ever choose not to live this way.
Yeah, it's I can't even think about it. I can't think about ever switching back to a lifestyle that was really materialistic. I think anyway. I think I was very materialistic, even though I didn't think about it at the time. It was very much about looks. It was very much about how the world perceived me. But yeah, now this whole coaching world of helping others, with their journey. I lost my train of thought. I guess in the coaching world, I've found this to be a very important job, because I'm by trade and by background, I'm a registered nurse, and I've always been involved in healthcare. And I found that coaching is, if not probably more important than your considered frontline healthcare workers. In your experience, seeing the results from your clients and seeing the things that you've helped them with, how has it shaped you as a person?
There is nothing better than the feeling that you experience. Firstly, giving someone hope and belief that they can create change in their life. Often they don't see or believe it. They don't believe it because they haven't seen it, they haven't done it. Like, when you instill belief in someone, like, just to see them change their perspective and the way they're viewing life and their own life is a beautiful thing, because a lot of them are stuck and they're confused and they're just don't know what to do. They've tried a million things, not helping. They're very unwell, low on energy, and they're just looking for someone to guide them in the right direction. A lot of the time it's more about accountability. These people want you to be there along the pathway with them, especially because if you've had your own experience, they just need someone by their side. It's a genuine human connection experience, and I love it. And then you see what it does for somebody and how it changes their life, not just their life, but their family's life, their kids' life, their work, everything. Who they are being in all those moments changes, and then it positively, like a ripple effect, impacts everybody else around them. Because And I say this to a lot of people I speak to, like when people are questioning them and they're not really sure what to answer, if they're new to carnivore, and it's like, don't sit and explain yourself. You don't have to do that. You just tell them that's what you're doing and lead by example. Show them the way. You don't have nothing you say anyway really is going to get through to a person who has an opinion of you and what you're doing. Just show them what this is doing for you, and let them make, a decision about how they feel about it based on that. Everyone's going to have their opinions. That's fine. We're okay.
Touching on, I sharing a bit of I actually posted this on an Instagram story this morning, but one of the biggest things that I found so, I guess, fulfilling as a coach was not so much the scale victories. And I really wanted to share this post, but the fact that, the very important fine aspects of your life, as simple as just being present for your kids, Like I posted that, you know, on the story, and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. I love what I'm doing. It just, whenever I read that, you know, the client feedback, I'm just like, yeah, this is what the world needs. Yeah.
100%. You know, like, this is what fuels us to continue to share what we're sharing, because everybody deserves to have that in their life, and you know, everyone's struggling with something, you know. You know, and often they need help and support, and don't know really where to find it, or how, you know, that people just need support. It's just people supporting people to live, you know, a life of greatness. That's what it's about. But especially with kids. I've got my own kids. I know what it's like to you know, be responsible for little humans, and also what that does to you as a parent from an energy perspective, you know. So I want to be in my best form, you know, and parent the best I can.
Yes.
When I have them with me, you know, and this enables me to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, a couple of questions. Who are your top 3 people that influence you in this carnivore space? Just the top 3.
Okay. Well, Anthony Fayez, my coach, very good friend of mine, he really was a catalyst for me stepping into carnivore. He hadn't said to me that day, "Now, well, you should do carnivore," for the last 4 weeks. I probably wouldn't, because even doing keto, I loved keto. It was great. And I remember one day during the time, he said, "Oh, you should just have steak for breakfast." And I remember screwing my face up. I'm like, "Gonna eat steak for breakfast?" You know, like, in my head, I hadn't quite understood how that would work. I think I even tried it. I didn't really like it at that time.
Oh, really?
This was before he told me. This is a little bit earlier on. Now, for those who follow me on Instagram, like, that's all I have for breakfast every day is steak and butter. Anthony is a wealth of knowledge. If anyone's interested, go check him out. The Lean 7 on Instagram. He's just incredible, and I get to spend a lot of time with him. He's local here in Adelaide, and I've just learned so much from his knowledge as a PT, as a coach, just as a human. So he's a huge mentor and influence in my life. I mean, initially it was always Dr. Anthony Chafee, and I think for a lot of people, Dr. Chafee is your entry into carnivore, because he's just everywhere. He's just such a beautiful human, and just doing amazing things, and he really means well. So he influenced me greatly at the beginning, and I've watched a lot of Bart K, especially at the beginning. So Bart has been a huge influence on me also. Again, wonderful man, doing great things. Yeah.
And you know what? The list can go on, honestly. I say top 3 just because, you know, it's and people have a hard time.
I think it's more so they were the first 3 that got me on the pathway. So it was like Anthony introduced me to it, and then we used to watch a lot of Anthony Chafee and Bart K YouTube videos, and I think they're just influenced and educated me so much that, you know, there is a lot of people out there doing amazing things in the US that have come, you know, more recently, but those 3 would be my top 3. Yeah.
That is awesome. Awesome top 3. Shout out to all 3 of them, you know, all amazing humans, honestly. And, you know, they've done a lot for others out there as well. Now, what does your diet look like right now? Let's do another top. Let's do a top 5 with your top 5 carnivore foods.
God, I don't even think I've got 5. Okay. Well, I source really good quality beef from a farm here in South Australia called Carnivore. They have grass-fed, grass-finished, organic, you know, very healthy meat. So very healthy beef. And I go there, and you know what? Again, it's part of the lifestyle. I like to go out to the hills. I drive to the farm. They have a little butcher shop on the property. You can buy your meat fresh every single week. You can put orders in for quarter, half, full count. They're amazing people, really, really nice people. So if you're in South Australia, I highly recommend them. So I go and stock up on Scotch fillet and porterhouse every week. I may get a bowl of roast or something as well, because I do. Yeah. So most days in the morning I'm having 2 Scotch fillet or 2 porterhouse with butter and salt. And the moment I'm cooking, I'll either grab a suet tallow from them, which is
from them as well.
Yeah, like a fresh tallow, which I'll cook with.
Nice.
Or I'm using the Steak Labs tallow at the moment, which is already rendered down and put in the pan. It's really easy. So 2 steaks with butter in the morning. I sometimes, depending on, I used to eat a lot of bacon. I've really cut that back. I don't eat a lot of bacon anymore. I add a little bit of bacon in the morning if I still like it, but not very often.
Yeah.
So that's and I also have been having, again, here in South Australia, I mean, I've done a lot of my research, so I'm happy to share the brands with people because saves you having to do it. But the best pure cream I've found in South Australia is called Alexandrina Pure Cream, and they're from down south, a beautiful big farm out there. So I like a bit of cream. I like to have something. I like textures, so I'm hot and cold, and so I'll have steak, and then I'll have a little bit of cream as well.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I'd probably have another steak in the afternoon, or I'm of Greek background, so I like good lamb, gyros meat, or something like this.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, or lamb or chicken, if that's what I feel like.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll do fish, but not very often anymore. Like I'm likely to have a breakfast, and then I'll have something in the afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah, it just depends what it is. I'm mostly doing TMAD, which is the 2 meals a day. I don't eat very much. Unless I'm fasting or doing some kind of protocol there. I would eat later into the evening, but most days I will not eat past, I don't know, I like to eat breakfast and a late lunch, and that'll be it. Yeah.
No, fair enough.
That's it. Like, I don't eat eggs. I don't like eggs. I don't like cheese. Don't like milk. Yeah, I'll eat some seafood. Seafood's nice. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's simple. It's so simple. I don't even think about it anymore. It's just like, I'll have steak for breakfast and steak for lunch. That's easy.
Yeah. It's very hardcore carnivore. I think, I think beef just really needs to be a staple for a lot of people. Beef is just, no matter what cut it is, no matter what, dish you're making, it's going to taste good regardless.
Yes, but let me tell you though, because it does seem like a very simple food to be eating all the time, cooking with tallow or that suet with a good quality salt,
elevates it.
Butter, it just makes such a big difference. And getting the meat from the farm, like I really don't buy meat from anywhere else.
No, definitely. No, that's really cool. And very fortunate that here in Australia, we do have access to a lot of our local farms, and I think people are missing out. Go out to your local farms and order or get yourself some fresh grass-fed organic beef or lamb, pork, whatever it is. Don't miss out, guys. It's honestly it's something that I always tell my clients, like, go to the farms or go to your butchers.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just source really good quality meat. If you're a carnivore, and if you're only eating meat, you need to be eating the best quality meat there is available to you.
Yeah, tastes better too. My opinion.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Well, Melissa, I think let's call that a wrap. You've been, amazing sharing your story and your insights on the carnivore diet. So I just want to thank you so much for your time. Is there any final words or messages you want to put out there for the people who are watching, and where can they find you on social media?
Yeah, sure. I'm on Instagram, mostly live there at Melissa BEE.au. So come and see me there. I like to post, daily inspiration, share a bit of my stories, my client stories. as well to inspire people on their own journey. If you're in Melbourne, and you're a carnivore, there is no reason why you should not be at the Pullman Albert Park on April 26th joining us, and everybody else who will be there sharing all things carnivore. Also, if you're not from Melbourne and you feel like a weekend away, because it is a long weekend with Anzac Day, the day before, come down. There's a lot of people actually coming again from interstate.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's very exciting. I just really encourage everybody who feels like they need to create change in their life to do the research, get to a point where you're confident to create change, and then make a choice to step into it and really trust yourself. Trust yourself through the process, because you can do this. You can create positive change in your life. Like we have, and everybody else that we know has. It is not reserved for some and not others. It is actually available to everybody. I just encourage everybody to take that first step. And if you need support, people like Joss and myself and all the others out there who are ready, willing and able to support you, seek the support you need. Don't give it a shot and then still, a lot of people try it, Joss, and then they go on and back off. And sometimes it's just better to get the right support from the start. I see that a lot. So just encouraging whoever's watching, if you're interested, to just get started.
Awesome stuff. Well, thank you again for your time. And for those who are watching, thank you for the love and support on this podcast. And, follow both myself and Melissa on our social medias, please. And for those in Australia, worldwide, really, it's an open invitation. Please come down to Melbourne for the Carnivore Live event. Honestly, I'm so excited for it. And it's going to be a good one. I'm sure of it.
And you won't want to miss it. Do you know what happened, Josh, last time? One of the reasons why I ran this event, pretty soon after the last event, was that there were a lot of people that said they missed out. And I don't want people to miss out this time. So if you can be there, come join us. It'd be a great day.
Yes. Can we still get tickets, by the way?
Yes. I'll give you the link. And,
yes, please. Yes. Guys, thank you again for watching, and we'll stay tuned for another episode where I interview another guest. But anyways, have a great, wonderful day, night, wherever you are. Thank you again, Mel. All right.